Yo, good people. It's your homie HerbMan. Let's see you back upside the head with another hot banger. Look at, please go tell somebody to go tell somebody your homie HerbMan is on. And if you're new to the program, welcome. Please follow, like, share, and subscribe on all the platforms at Love HerbMan. All right. Thank you for all of you guys that are supporting the movement. We appreciate you guys. This is not a moment. This is a movement. All right. I am your neighborhood holistic practitioner. I'm your homie HerbMan. All we do simply here, man, is teach people how to heal themselves. And you cannot heal yourself unless you know thyself. So we teach you about the human frame and the human design so that you can be well on your way to happiness, wholeness, and wellness. That's what we do here on the HerbMan Show. If you guys are interested in this information, thank you for stopping by. Go tell somebody to go tell somebody your homie HerbMan is on, all right? So this is free information, you guys. You don't have to pay for this information. All you got to do to pay for it is pay attention. How we do that is by simply double tapping that screen and getting us up to 100K during the live, all right? Now, all we need is 1,000 likes to start the conversation off. And since we're already there, that means that you guys are already in anticipation for what we're about to bring today, all right? And guess what, man? It's always going to be a teaching moment. Every time that we come on, we're going to be a teaching moment. We're on live every day from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're coming live from South Africa, okay? Live from South Africa, all right? But you guys know me. If you don't know me, I facilitate everybody everywhere, okay? So you don't have to worry about where I'm at. All right, obviously, you can tell I'm American, right? So even though we're here in South Africa, we're still able to facilitate all of our American customers as well as those in other areas of the planet. All we simply provide for you is not only some products, but we will tell you that a product cannot heal you, but a program can. A program can heal you, all right? And this program is going to be intrinsic and also is going to be intricate for you to be able to understand the imperativeness of simultaneously healing yourself from trauma and from physical ailments. And when we do this at the same time, we're able to alleviate a lot of the particular pains and ails, and we're also able to make room for the healing to be able to do it. Sometimes you got to release something in order to get something. A lot of us are holding on to so much, and we're so constricted in life, and we just don't know. We don't have room enough for a new diet. We ain't got room enough for a new med. We don't have room enough for a new vaccine. We ain't got room enough for a new job, a new baby, a new. I ain't got. My life and my understanding is so cluttered now, and my responsibilities are just bubbling over and overwhelming me in such a way that I don't have nothing, I don't have room for a new concept, for a new belief system, for a new experience. Okay? And so all these things that keep flooding you is just like anybody being in the marketplace. And I've always said this, and I will always say this, that it's out of your ignorance that we create industry. It's out of the ignorance of somebody not being able to understand their full acquisitions in life. So much so, you're codependent on somebody else's skills to get you something that you would not otherwise have. Then that is what we call service oriented. That's capitalism, but there's also ignorant and creating industry. And then some of us are just pure bona fide laziness, right? That we don't want to do certain things. We don't want to have to do certain things, and therefore we're okay with that. But what if you didn't have money? What if the only way that you could barter, the only way that you could make a transaction was through having skill? What if it took a skill for a skill, okay, in order to be able to make a transaction? So you got to look at these particular things and all kind of dynamics. The owner's manual is what we provide. It's the program that we provide. We're going back to nature, right? Into nature about the remedies and the things that you would need to do. Is the best natural assessment on the planet. If we're looking for an alternative to a modern day healthcare system, I believe that this is the way to go. Please go tell your mom and your dad and them this is a surefire way to be able to get you started on your road to health, wellness, and everything like that. And the great thing about it is it's all yours. So it's not like it's a I gotta keep coming back to you type of thing. It's not a reoccurring thing. All right. Pay your little funky measly $50, and with your birthday, have everything that you need in the palm of your hands for the rest of your life. and you become your own health advocate, you become your own health guru, you become your own captain of the ship of your life, and be able to get to this 120 years, just like what the Bible said, right? It said that we should have 120 years in Genesis 6. Genesis chapter 6. We should have 120, right? But now what we want to teach today is how to understand the Bible as being about the brain and the mind, but more importantly, understanding what are some of these things meaning so that we can really get down to activating our true healing. There's a reason why I don't want you to be a recurring customer. There's a reason why I don't want to set up shop on you. There's a reason why I don't want to see you every day. Okay. If I wanted to do that, I would have stayed with my storefront. I had a storefront. Okay. But the thing about treatment is that I'm no better than you robbing Peter to pay Paul. I'm no better than the medical industry. This whole practice, this natural practice, is really not for treatment. Does it work well for treatment? Yes. Can it replace your medications for chronic treatments? Yes, herbs can do that. Are they for that though? No. These things are for you to be able to learn your lesson and stop messing with the foolishness of life and continue to live righteously as you possibly can. We know that that's what this is about. Let's stop playing the game. So stop coming to me like I'm the healthcare center looking for me to treat you like the healthcare center. Okay? Stop coming to me as a holistic practitioner trying to look for me to service you like other providers you get. Okay? Yeah, we always want to have the online store, but no, we do not have the storefront anymore. Okay? But stop looking to treat me like you treat the healthcare system of today. I deserve and respect. I deserve and respect the fact that you can come to me knowing that you should expect something different. Should not come to an herbalist or a holistic practitioner looking for the same programming of modern medicine. You don't want to get nobody your birthday. You don't want to get nobody no this and that. Oh, they working with this and they working with that. This ain't no medicine trap over here. We ain't trapping out medication. We doing something different. But what you do want to do is go to a nature whisperer. You want to go to somebody that knows. But at the end of the day, don't be scared of it. Not business. It's the difference than going to the cat up the street or the cat down the road versus going to somebody that's really trying to provide to you potency, because that's what you're really looking for. When you leave the little medical facility, you still looking for something just as potent. And I keep trying to teach all of the herbs that I run by is you guys got to have some kind of system to create that potency. You know, these little books you read, them little recipes, some of them work, some of them don't. But for the most part, if they did, then that person, whoever wrote that book, that person would be the most famous person in the world. If you pick up a book and all of the stuff in that book work, then whoever the author is, whoever the children of the author is, whoever the children of the children of the author is, would be known. That person would be a world-renowned person. If there was somebody out here that was healing all manner of diseases, with the advent and the invention of social media, we would know them. We would know them, y'all. What's going on YouTube? We would know them. We would know them. If your book was the finest book, and especially if they send it on TikTok, y'all think that little green book gonna do something for you? Come on, man. It ain't that easy. They're not the secrets are not going to be sold to you that easy. Okay? And it won't be the most popular thing until it's too late. So I get it. You have to suffer through this educational beginning that we're going through in the last several months to years that I've been on TikTok. I'm not going to be your entertainer. I'm going to be your educator. Okay. But I want to detain you long enough for this education, this information to enter you, for you to go and start doing your own research on what an owner's manual would do. It serves as a guide. A guide for what? To get the longevity out of something, to get the optimal performance, and also the ultimate usage out of that piece of equipment. We all come with that. This is record keeping. Record keeping. There are things that have happened in our ancestry for record keeping, and one of them was following the sun, the path of the sun. Let me repeat this one more time for the people in the back. There are things that are in nature that have been already identified by man as timekeepers. But there was an ultimate timekeeper. We time kept by looking at the path of the sun, and we created seasons. Those seasons are not only weather patterns or climatic things that happen, or zones that happen within your particular paradigm or hemisphere, but there are also things that on the spiritual, on the metaphysical world, these are moments in life, seasons. So when you follow the path of the sun, our ancestors realized how to now start to chronicleize seasons. Y'all don't hear me. Please listen to me with your spiritual ear. Okay? Our ancestors realized how to keep time by chronicalizing the path of the sun. So thus then they created seasons. Now, metaphorically, we know that these are moments in life as well. A season could mean a moment in life. Girl, you just going through a season, right? So now if I follow the path of the sun, I can know what moments in life to prepare for, what seasons to prepare for, what moments in life to prepare for. You get all of this with the owner's manual, okay? All this with the owner's manual. So you guys need to understand all of these components about what you're receiving for that little funky measly $50. Now, the subject of today is about the moment that we ate the tree of knowledge. The moment that you ate of the tree of knowledge, right? If you believe in this, because I've been told you that the Garden of Eden, Adam is the body, okay? Adam is the body. Adama represents the physical energy, the masculine energy represents the body, okay? The physical body of man. That's why it's called Genesis, the genealogy of Adam, because now we start to look at the physical masculine energy side of life. And the masculine energy side of life reproduces asexual, just like the feminine side of life can reproduce asexual. But the goal is not for them to reproduce asexually. The goal is for you to allow them to create reproductively by intercourse together. What I mean by that is that thought can create its own thing and feeling can create its own thing, but the thing is to create thought interacting or intercourse with feelings create action. So what is an asexual thought? Well, we know now that an asexual being could only reproduce an identical twin of itself for the most part, right? So then that means that it is a identical behavior. So a asexual thought is a identical behavior that you just keep doing the same thing all the time. That's something reproducing itself identically over and over and over. That's an asexual thought. Now think about it in your life and look at how much you create those identical behaviors, those identical habits. Asexual thought, masculine energy creating its own thing. Okay. And then name a time when you're creating the same identical behavior in the feminine energy. Asexual ideas, asexual creativity, it ain't got nothing to do with the masculine energy side, but it's identical behavior, identical habits creating of itself. So you got some of us that are creating masculine energy, creating of itself, and you got some of us creating feminine energy that's creating of itself, and they're doing asexual, identical behaviors and habits. When I'm telling you that, and that's why you can't get out of that funk. You can't get out of that habit because it's identical behavior. It's identical. It's triggered by something, and those triggers create the identical behavior of the. You smoked yesterday because you stressed, you're gonna smoke today. You drunk the other day because you stressed, you're gonna drink today. You ate what you wanted to eat yesterday because you stressed, you're gonna eat again today. It's identical behavior. Goal is to work the two as one. And if you can work the two as one on the inside of you, you will not require another on the outside of you. Let me say that one more time for the folk in the back seat back there. The goal and the understanding to this particular teaching is that if we can teach you how to make reproduction intercourse with the masculine and feminine quadrants of the brain inside of you, then you won't battle. You'll start seeing that battle start to show itself on the outside. Your incapabilities of doing a thing, whether it's healing yourself, getting the way you want to get to in life, et cetera, are indications of the battle of the disagreement within. Can y'all hear me? Somebody say we're lagging. Oh, we on. Can you hear me? Please keep tapping the screen, you guys. I keep talking. Please keep tapping. I'll keep talking. Can we get a sound check? All right, so there we go. So now understanding these particular type of terminology that we're using, now we can understand what we're about to go to. Okay, that the key is to work both of them together. So then, in other words, what are we talking about, people? In other words, we're talking about the key is to get them to balance. See, I can use masculine, 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 feminine, masculine, 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 feminine. Well, that's five masculines to one feminine. That ain't the ratio. Well, I can use feminine, feminine, masculine, feminine, feminine, masculine, feminine, feminine, masculine. But that's a 2-to-1 ratio. It's not balanced. So it doesn't create homeostasis in the physical. So your body's sick because your mind's sick. And here we go. Now, the first thing that happened when they ate the tree of life, the good of knowledge, is that they were banished from the garden and told that they could not eat of the tree of life. Y'all didn't see that one, though, did you? Y'all didn't see that one in the Bible, did you? And we finna go there. Let's keep on tapping, you guys. Let's keep on tapping. Let's get us up to 100K. I got some receipts today. We're gonna make it fun and interactive. I know a lot of you guys are really trying to be Bible thumpers. We're gonna teach you about what the Bible really. And the Lord God said, "Behold, man has become as one of us." Now I don't know who us is if you're talking about one God. Now that's the second time in Genesis that we don't seen a us. When they say, "Let us make man," and then here it is that after you bit the fruit, and the Lord God said, "Behold, the man has become as one of us." Now, who us is, I'm gonna leave that up to y'all. That's why you don't understand the Bible because you're literally reading it instead of spiritually. The us is what I've been trying to get you to see, the masculine and the feminine energies. Before you became this separate species, you was a unified energy. Okay. And remember, like what I just said, masculine energy can asexualize itself. Therefore, a man was created. Feminine energy can asexualize itself, and therefore you became a female species. I hope y'all just got that nugget right there. So when I'm talking about asexual recreation out of the energies, how in the hell you think you got here? That's the whole question to why you got here. Because you've been thinking that you needed two entities to get here, which is why you can't never get past the debate of if it was the female or the male here first. Okay. But what I can tell you is that the energies were here before the species. The energies were upon the earth way before the species. And so masculine energy asexualized itself and created a man in the image of the energy. Feminine energy asexualized itself and created the woman, the female holding the principles of the energy in which it was created by. This is recreation. Now, they created each other separately. They needed each other to create a child. That is your ideals. But in order to create the species, they didn't need each other. So what you got to get back to is the working of two things as one, so that you don't need the codependency because of the lack of your intuitive skills. That's what this is really about, is the lack of your intuitive skills. So you can't tap into your healing by yourself, so you need a doctor. It's the lack of your intuitive skills. So you can't tap into doing these skills by yourself, so you need a teacher. But a gorilla don't need a teacher to be a gorilla. It just watches the other gorillas. So due to your lack of intuition, you're codependent. And what we're trying to do is get you up off the pacifier. So we're going to take the pacifier, the baby mouth, and replace it with something that's a little bit more reliable. And that's the owner's manual for funky measly $50. Now, after they bit the apple, they were banished from the garden and told to never come, and said, lest you reach out your hand. Okay? Lest you reach out your hand. Let's get this scripture back up. And put forth his hand to live to eat forever. What is they trying to live and eat out for forever? See, lest you put forth his hand. Okay? Lest he put forth his hand to live forever. All right, let me get you a better view of that. Okay, so the tree of life. So the tree of life was the thing that's keeping you up and going. Then I started looking, okay, the tree of life is the thing that was keeping them having eternal life. That you had to eat from that tree to stay renewed. To stay renewed. You had the tree of good and evil, and you had the tree of life. You had two decisions, two choices, two directions, a high tide and a low tide, a left and right brain, a right and left hemisphere, a north and southern hemisphere, a yin and a yang, a male and a female. You got two choices. Okay? You see this? You had the tree of the good and knowledge, and you had the tree of life. These are your choices. One gonna give you everlasting life based on nature. Other one's gonna give you everlasting life based on features and functionality. You chose to be like God to get the spiritual out of it by neglecting your physical. Listen to what I'm saying. It's a mind thing. You got the tree of good and evil, tree of life. This ain't nothing but just two choices, but they representing male and female. They're representing the two energies. They're representing the decisions that you got to make every day that come out of your thoughts, feelings, and actions. They represent fright or flight when it comes to stimulus in your environment. They represent everyday choices. Either you're gonna get up and do it or you ain't. That job ain't got you. You could decide right now not to get up and go to work. Guess what? You won't be there. Bills might not get paid, but if you decide to do that, it'll be one less ass in that seat at work. All you got to do is just decide to do it. We know that. You got the power to do that. These are the decisions that you're faced with every day. So one decision was the tree of life. Nature is going to serve you, but you ain't got to worry about nothing. Now, you might not know as much as you would like to know. You might not have as much information personally that you would like to know, but you're in a space, you're in a state of contentment in your consciousness. Consciousness is being alive, you guys. It's not being dead. When somebody saying you woke and you in your consciousness means your ass is alive. When you unconscious, you see what I'm saying? Consciousness simply means that you are alive and aware. You're in your awareness because you're in your aliveness. You're conscious to the environment. When it get cold outside, your ass without a jacket gonna shiver. That's consciousness. Okay? Now, the decision that had to be made was either I can stay plugged into nature with no worries, but not as much information, or I'm gonna unplug from nature, get all the information needed, but not see the value of the physical body. So because you didn't see the value of the body, remember that Adama is the body, Eve is the mind. The snake represents thought. Remember, I keep teaching you guys, thought creates the feeling. Feeling creates the action. Thought and feeling create intercourse together. They create friction to create the baby, which is the action. It's the result of what you've been thinking. Thinking ain't gonna do nothing until it make you feel something. Once it make you feel something, then you get your ass up and go to work. Because the first thoughts coming through your head is that you don't want to get up. It's until you feel like getting up that you get up. You see? Thought happened first to initiate feeling. Feeling has to come. If feeling don't come, it's just a thought. You don't do it. Nobody knows what the hell you were thinking because it didn't create a feeling yet. But when feeling, those are seeds being planted so deep into the thought airway that it's eventually going to create an action, meaning eventually she's going to cuss your ass out. Eventually, they're going to get tired of it because eventually feelings going to set in too much to permeate the thought and create the infinite action. So we got that process. So now we understand that the body wasn't valued. So the thought came into the mind. The serpent talked to Eve. The thought came into the mind and the body followed. When you ate the apple, it gave you physical inabilities that also bled into your spiritual inability. So the first thing happened was you can't live forever. First thing he took from you was everlasting life. The first thing he took for you was your health. Eating a fruit on a tree, the first thing that was taken from you is your health. Eating fruit from a tree, the first thing that was taken from you was your health. But we know now, based on these teachings, that the value of the body has been undervalued for a long time in the sacred science. So that when you take away everlasting life as a physical ramifications of the disobedience, you also with everlasting life take away my spiritual inabilities to connect back to that which could give me everlasting life. Damaging the body damages your spirit. damaging your damages your body. And what you guys are going through is not just physical. And I keep trying to teach you this over and over and over again in different ways. If you can't get help on your thoughts, feelings, and actions, then what you just resolved has a high probability of reoccurring in life. Let me repeat that. If you are cured, it's absolutely over. It won't return. If you are healed, it's absolutely over. What is done is over. It will not come back. Why? Because cured and healed is a lot like repent. And these are permanent states of being. They're not just words you fumble around and throw around out there in the cognitive planet and thinking that it don't come back and that you know exactly what the falsehoods are about that thing in which you frisbeed out there like that. These are permanent states of being which require a total transformation of the internal thing. Now, remind you that that tree of life is renewal. It stands for renewal. It was renewing their life. So you tapped into wanting to be a God so much, your spiritual consciousness so much that you forgot about taking care of the body. But when you was with God, your body was taken care of. When you trying to be a God, your body is neglected. When you was with God, your body was taken care of. I want y'all to get this. When you were trying to be a God, you neglect the body. When you were with God, your body was taken care of. When you were trying to be a God, you neglect the body. When you was with God, your body was taken care of. When you were trying to be a God, you abuse or neglect the body. Going to extremes and excessive behavior, thinking that that's what you should do physically to reach a spiritual consciousness. And that's what your thought life will do to you. That's what your little social engineered thought life and genetically modified feelings are starting to do to you. Okay. So then I looked deeper and talked about this tree of life being the renewal. And then I got the understanding that there is a part of your brain in the cerebellum. Okay. This is the little brain. It's on the back side of the brain, down up close to your brain stem. Okay. And then I realized that in the cerebellum, a lot like, you know how we used to call the celestial beings. You know, these celestial beings, the cerebellum, right? So these angelics are in your brain, okay? So in the cerebellum, there's a place there called the arbor vitae, which is called the white matter, okay? Let me show you something real quick. Keep tapping, I'll keep talking. Okay, let's get this thing down here. Let's do some teaching. YouTube, we're pulling up the diagram or image of the sun white matter is at. Okay, all right. So y'all can see this for teaching purposes. Okay, this is the tree of life. You see how that is cut open, and it looks like the lungs. It looks like the tree or anything like. So this is a sliced up side of this particular cerebellum for you to see white matter, arbor vitae. Okay, it's called arbor vitae, white matter. There's a reason why I'm repeating words. So just like if you did any college courses, you know that when he say when he repeated, there's something that you should write down for the test. All right. So anyway, this white matter in biological terminologies is nothing more than just your nerve fibers. Okay, your nerve fibers that are wrapped in your myelin sheath. Okay, nerve fibers. These are not the neurons or the cells. These are just nerve fibers that create this white matter. Okay. Now, what this does in functionality is it creates a networking system as pathways to be able to reach the other parts of the brain. Uh-huh. Now, what we've been teaching you is about balance. Huh? We've been teaching you about balance, and we've been teaching you how balance is the key. Now, ironically, balance is controlled by the cerebellum. Ironically, white matter, arbor vitae, is one of those particular things that happen synapsically, right, through your nervous system that creates this ability to get to the left side connected to the right side. Now, remember that I told you that your main job, your main focus is to get Adam to make love to Eve. Okay. Now, if you can't get these two together in your mind, if you can't get the left side of your brain to cooperate with the right side, if you can't get your masculine energy to finally succumb to your feminine energy, if you can't make the marriage and the wedding happen in the mind, then you won't be able to live this harmonious life in the physical. If you cannot allow for this union to formulate in the spirit, the mind, then it's going to be far-fetching in the physical. If you cannot understand the functionalities of the feminine qualities and energies and the masculine qualities and energies and the value and the relevance, I'm sorry, of both of these, then you'll be missing roles and responsibilities of a man and a woman species in the home. If you can't get your house in order in your mind, then your house ain't in order in your life. So this is the tree of life. It's the arbor vitae. Then I went a little deeper and I said, arbor vitae. How about I've been doing herbs so long? I know there's an herb called arbor vitae. I just know that there is a herb called arbor vitae. And if you do your Googling work, you'll realize that arbor vitae is a herb that I actually sell when I had my storefront. It's called thuja. That's the Indian word. It's called thuja, but it's called arbor vitae. And I used to use arbor vitae for endocrine glands, tumors, any growth and developments on your body. Arbor vitae can do it, especially acne, real bad acne, skin issues. Arbor vitae was my go-to. Herpes and all that stuff. I throw a little arbor vitae in there, baby. You know what I'm talking about? If you're dealing with lumps and bumps and growths and tumors and all these things, arbor vitae. Then it said that arbor vitae is very good for the gland, especially when they are excessive. And we just told you that the problem yesterday is the endocrine system being too excessively excreting things into your blood, creating growth factors, which create the growth of cells, which is the diabolical definition of cancer. The uncontrollable division of cells is the definition of cancer. What is creating that increase? Now we got an herb that creates the decrease. Boy, y'all don't understand something. Then I'm gonna tell you another thing that thuja was good for. I teach you every day about self-harm. Self-harming ourselves with certain coping mechanisms due to the stress of life, right? Due to the fact that you over here being your own God and goddess, now you under stress trying to figure out everything on your own. Okay? Because you ain't got no guide no more. You ain't got no navigator no more. So now you're all on your own. You know good and evil, so you're out here by yourself, trying to figure it out. Just like you and I. But at the end of the day, my point to you is how to get back. How to get back is to get back to balance, is to understanding the importance of balance. It wasn't for you to know good and evil because you were going to consume. You had a consumptive behavior. That's why you bit a fruit that you didn't have no business biting. It wasn't because of nothing else, but because of consumptive behavior. You have the audacity to believe because of your God consciousness that you should experience everything and anything you want to. And that's called free will. That free will lends over to more of the consumptive behavior. Okay? Point blank how TI is. So now this thuja is a good herb for self-abuse, alcoholism, drugism, sexism, whatever of self-abuse you do. Thuja is also good. Well, I said, boy, these folk crazy. These folk crazy. But you've never heard of that because you look at moringa as the tree of life or the miracle tree because you're not dissecting what they're talking about in the Bible. But the cerebellum is where my balancing act is at. It's where my movement in life are also at. It's where I get my posture from. My posture, my balance, and my movements in life or in this tree of life, in the little brain called the cerebellum, in the white matter. And then there's a herb for me to help out with imbalances, hormonal imbalance, arborvitae. I'm telling you about an herb. I just showed you this in your brain. It's called arborvitae. My YouTubers go on over there and look up the cerebellum and look up arborvitae, the white matter. Okay, and look this up for yourself. All right, YouTubers. But I'm showing them this on TikTok right now. This is what you're seeing. Is that white matter is called the tree of life. So I took the tree of life from the Garden of Eden, found it in your brain. Realize that in your brain, this tree of life is going to help you move through life, balance you in life, and also control a lot of your posture as well. Now we know that the healing component in life got to be balanced. So what controls balance? The tree of life on the that is one of the best plants for your endocrine, for your infertility. If you didn't get pregnant, if you didn't want to pop a contraceptive, I'm telling y'all right now, if you didn't want to do it, arborvitae. Okay, arborvitae. Okay, you got to know these herbs. You got to know these herbs. So arborvitae, the herb is called white cedar. Now it's not kin to the cedar plants, but it is an aromatic. It does smell like the pine. And you know what I'm saying? You know, if you ever seen pine straw, pine cedar, it smells like that, but it is not a part of that particular plant life. I think arborvitae is a cypress, so it's a part of the cypress family, while the other actual cedar is a part of a whole different plant life. Okay, all right. White cedar, yeah, arborvitae. Now it's gonna come like a green plant. It's gonna smell just like the pine, but it's not. Very good for infertility, very good for hormonal balance, very good for your endocrine gland, your thyroid gland, your thymus gland, the pituitary, the pineal. I mean, all of these things. But just look at the healing component that that plant has that you don't know nothing about. You thought I was gonna get up here and talk about burdock root. Man, we got ancient we don't know where these words are coming from that can connect us back to certain things that can help us out in our particular walk in health. Okay, just got to know what these things are talking about. So now you have this tree of life, the plant come in, and it's able to also help you with self-harm. That self-abuse part of it to me is the most fascinating functionality of a plant. You know, outside of your hallucinogenics and stuff like that, to have that cognitive effect to help me with self-abuse, self-harm is tremendous. Okay. But this is the information, and this is kind of the way you start to think as you start to get back in tune with yourself, get back in tune with nature, and get yourself back into that healing component, that groove that you're trying to hit into. Some of you may need to take thuja. Now, if you are taking herbs like thuja, first of all, you need to be and somebody who know what they're doing. Second of all, you can't really take a whole lot of other stuff with Thuja, right? So when you're taking Thuja, you want to stop all of the mercury and the sulfur, right? So no onions, no garlic, stuff like that, right? No sweets, all right, and stuff like that. So if you're taking Thuja or you're looking to do more research into Thuja, which is called arborvitae, then you do not want to take it with alcohol. You don't want to take it with sweets. You don't want to take it with onions and garlic. No sulfur or no mercury needs to be combined with taking the Thuja. All right, everybody get that? We almost at that 100K. You keep tapping, I keep talking. Thuja, Thuja. Somebody put it in the comment section, please. Thuja. 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 Thank you, Natural Natty. Okay, thank you, Angie P. Y'all go do that. It's called the Tree of Life. So that I can't remember my way back home, nor can I remember the way to home. So you can't go back to home and you don't know where you're going. You don't know what your future looking like, and you don't know your way back home, dog. That's the significance of the Wizard of Oz. That's the significance of that story. Is it talking about mankind coming into the birth canal, into the root chakra, being spin and turned around and blindfolded with social engineering tactics to see if they can find themselves back on the yellow brick road? Can you find yourself back home? So we're gonna kick Adam and Eve out of the garden after they bit of fruit to see if they can find themselves back home. And in order for you to find this Garden of Eden, you got to be able to be in good condition because of the environmental stimuli of summer on the mind and the body, of spring on the mind and the body. This is your environmental stimuli of fall on the mind and the body. That means it was on Eve and Adam. Winter being on the mind and the body. See, this is, you got to be able to survive that to make it back home. Body preservation. Thank you, Angie P. Body preservation. You get all this information to help you preserve your body until you find your spiritual awareness. You cannot leave your body, otherwise you will come back and do this again because you ultimately have failed the test of transformation. You must transform in the body. There was a reason why they mummified was because they were trying to leave the body preserved for the spirit back. There's nothing that we're teaching. So now we ask the question of, well, what that's all about? Why would you preserve a body in almost as good a condition as you possibly can to house a spirit that's going through afterlife to come back to this body? Because that was an ancient science that had been taught to them. They just didn't have all the information to do it properly. So the end result is you still ain't found nobody to be alive for until you get that sacred science. And I'm telling you, in the infantry of it, in the elementary of it, in the rudimentary of it, is body preservation. How to learn how to be in this paradigm and go through those seasons of wear and tear on the mind and body and be able to preserve it. So we need to learn from nature. What does the bear do during spring, during the winter and fall months? So now rest becomes a very good component to body preservation. The bear sits in a damn uh, cold or a cave for 3 to 6 months on this on old food. So now that's teaching me a lot about the body. That the body can fast for a particular amount of time, but what is that bear's diet? A lot of fruit and a lot of fat. So it's got a lot of glucose from either end. Because once they run out of fruit, honey, The sweets, once they run out of fat glucose, it's going to turn fat from the salmon that is eaten into glycogen, into glucose. So it's going to eat up all of the sweets and all of the fish so it can get fat and get glucose and it sustains. So that teaches me something about fasting. If I can get a little bit of glucose in and a little bit of fat, when my glucose run low, my fat kick in. My liver start to convert the fat. The fat get converted over to glucose, and now I still got food. But you can't because you're too consumptive to go 90 days fasting. To go, you see what I'm saying? And your fasting is not understanding that before you fasted, you didn't get enough of the glucose that you needed. You can't just do it for nothing. I told you the other day when I was teaching y'all about detoxing. The detoxing your body needs what? Oxygen, glucose, and water. How come the bowel know this, but you don't? But also because of the bear's consumptive behavior, if it did not hibernate, it'll wreak havoc on wildlife and plant life on the planet. If that bear did not hibernate, it would wreak havoc on the animal life and the plant life on the planet. But you can learn something from that bear. You can learn something from what a lion does to reserve its water in the desert. You can learn something from nature on how to heal your body. Due to the lack of knowledge, we don't know, but that's what we're teaching here. So on the HerbMan Show, we come on live every day from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time so that you can start landing yourself in a place to be able to learn not only religious text the right way, but spirituality in the proper way, and also for you to understand how linked to your health to be able to get your health going in the right direction. So that's what we do. So if you don't know, it ain't no excuse. We here now. We live. We're coming to you live on 3. Anybody out there interested in their own favor, please DM me. We'll get you the information that you need. All right. Go tell somebody. Go tell somebody about the owner's manual. It is the best thing that I could ever offer mankind today, especially going on the spiritual roller coaster that I've been on throughout my particular life. When I look at value and look at it takes to offer value and to live and give somebody something of yourself and die in this particular spectrum and be known for something and to leave that legacy behind. I have boys. I raised kids. But at the end of the day, to have something to leave behind that's bigger than myself that I truly believe in, right? I ain't talking about a chicken wing stand. I don't got nothing against that. But this ain't that, right? We're not leaving behind real estate. We're not leaving behind a chicken shack. We're not leaving behind billions of dollars. We're not leaving behind this. We're leaving behind something that's for kind. It's a different way to change the world than just trying to get money to impact the world. Dig deeper. You can change the world in 2 ways. Yes, you can have physical prowess to change the world, but you can also have spiritual prowess to change the world. And so for me, I can't jump higher than Michael Jordan. I can't than, you know what I'm saying? That I show speed. So what I do is though that I can't do is I know how to get knee deep into this lake that we call the waters of spirit. I know how to swim a little bit. And so I can't beat you physically. Yeah, I can win spiritually. All of the tools that you have at your disposal when you're sitting in the middle and you're in the balance beam and being able to quantify what's going on in your life. You know that little brother who was just on here overdose? Even though I know he was just trying me out, that done something to him to know that stuff can push out that type of information. Overdose don't know me from a can of paint. I don't know overdose. I may not ever know overdose. But at the end of the day, just to show that young brother what nature ability can do. That not only that we can find you. We can track you in life. Not only is this a GPS system, but it's a medical system. It's a herbal system. It's a timekeeping system. It's everything that you could ever ask for in life is in this image. And I implore you and encourage you guys to go and follow me, go on YouTube and look at some of my first videos where I showed you guys this and didn't know what the hell I was showing. And it looks something like this. Y'all probably see that on the video, right? All right. My first YouTube video 6, 7 years ago, I didn't know what this was, but this is what I was showing the world. And now 6, 7 years later, we got it to where it's mobile, it's ready, it's effective, got everything in it. It's for everybody now with less information. Where before we needed for you to have to give me this and give me that. Everybody's birth was recorded in some kind of way per nature. Per nature. And the only way them folks knew about a baby born in a manger in Egypt was because they followed the sun. They followed astrology, astronomy. They knew how to navigate through the heavens. And so we're using the same heavenly navigation system to not only navigate you physically through your health needs, but also spiritually with your spiritual needs. And you get all of that for a funky measly $50. Hear the message I watch. I try my best to watch every day. Oh yeah, appreciate you time. DM him. Interested, he'll get back to you. One needs to do this, especially if you are everybody needs to do it, period. You know, no matter what you are, especially if you got kids, this is the best investment for your children. All right. Now, real quick, when we're doing these birthdays and I'm shooting out this information, don't be afraid of it. We're not telling you that this is what you're gonna get, gotta get, and supposed to get. We're telling you that these are tendencies. No, nine times out of 10, the only way you run into a pothole is because you didn't know it was there. So a lot of these tendencies, you don't know where they're coming from. So you don't know that your job is going to cause you high blood pressure. You don't know that your spouse is going to cause you high blood sugar. You don't know that this community or this social engineering ideology or this religion that you're in are not going to address certain things in you that can still now it the problem it ain't the cause of the problem. It just can't solve the problem. But it ain't the cause of it. Religion and all the doctors, they're not the cause of the problem. The cause of the problem is life trauma that hasn't been dug out. And the best time for a flashlight is in the dark. So we got to be able to go back into these dark spaces, these dark times of life, and find these traumas that are hidden away and stored away in more than likely your storage units, which are going to be your reproductive units. So if you're not using your breast to feed a baby, then it becomes a storage unit for cancer. If you're not using your testicles to create a baby, then it becomes storage units for cancer. If you're not using your uterus for a baby, then it becomes a storage unit for cancer. So a lot of the reproductive closets, private areas, the private seats, becomes the storage, the closet spaces for a lot of trauma. Okay? Anybody? Thank you for the 100K, you guys. We're at 100, almost 120K. You keep tapping, I'll keep talking. Anybody want to try this for the first time? Put some ones in the chat. How many people I got in here that are interested in the owner's manual and want to try for the first time? Put some ones in there. Just let me know who I'm talking to. How many people who are here who never heard of the owner's manual, or maybe somebody who has, but who hasn't tried it yet and wants to try it and has issues that they need to try it for. Okay? All right. Just wait until I get paid next week. Oh, yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Okay, so we got a few ones of people who are interested in the owner's manual. Okay, we got a few ones of some people who are interested. Now, out of those same ones, put some twos if you have a health concern that you're needing the owner's manual to help you with. Okay. If you're wanting the owner's manual, please DM me. We'll get you the information. Okay, we'll get you the information if you're needing the owner's manual. Put some tools in the chat if you want to try the owner's manual and you have a health condition, but you just haven't tried it yet. Okay, sprinkle with love. Sprinkle with love. Real quick, give me your full birthday. So that's the person I'm choosing. Sprinkle with love. Sprinkle with love. The reason why I chose you is because you got love in your name. All right, I'm a sucker for love. I'm a sucker for love ass nigga. Okay, so really quick, put your full birthday in there, and we're just gonna do a really quick tracking. Let's see where you at GPS wise, and see what's going on with you. 129.89. Okay, so we got some babies. Okay, 129.89. So from 121 to 221, from 121 to 221, we consider that to be an Aquarius. Okay, from 121 to 221, we consider that to be an Aquarius. So you were born on 129. All right, so Aquarius, you are here. Your starting point is your finishing point. Is to make it back here through this whole. Okay, that's your whole job is to make it back to the Aquarius in you. You already done left Aquarius, but your job is to make it back. That's your job. So when we talk about purpose, now you can visualize the purpose. You can visualize the race. You can see where the finish line is at in your life. Now you can die before you do, but it just don't mean that this ain't the destination. It is your destination to get back here, which will make you 120 years of age. That's the first thing you must understand. All right. Second, you were born in 89. So born in 89, that makes you around what, 30? You gotta be what, 36? You're about 36 years old. Okay, so let's look at your current location. 20, 30, and 6 years old. You are currently located right here. Now remember, you started right here. Now you over here in Taurus. So you're in your Taurian phase of life sprinkled with love. The Taurian phase of life comes with Taurian lessons that you got to learn. Okay. The first duality that you're going to be dealing with in your Taurian phase is emotions and thoughts. Okay. Your emotions and thoughts. Everybody can hear me. Can everybody hear me before we keep going? Can everybody hear me before we keep going? Put some ones in the chat. Okay. So we still there. All right. So love, emotion, and thought is going to be your battle. Your emotions and your thoughts right now is what you got to deal with. Secondly, the Taurian thing is going to be about your money, your personal possessions. Okay. You're in the spring of life. In the spring of life, this is about growing and developing these things about self. So when you were 10, 20, so 15 to 25, you went through a transition. So that's cool. You went through this transition. And then around 25, you started to learn that sense of self. That was Aries. You started to get your sense of identity, self-awareness, that sense of self-appearance, how you gonna look, how you want to be, how you want people to see you in life, so to speak. All of that was coming in your Aryan phase. Now you're in your Turian phase. So you went from self to being now more about personal possessions. Now you yourself are going out and getting things in life. So this is a money time, an income time. Also, you want to be careful because you can get into some habits. You want to work on your habits while being in this particular time and place. Now, you are also in the first weekend of Aquarius. So from a health standpoint, the first weekend of Aquarius, you want to watch out for something going on with your arms. Okay? Something going on with your arms and also the heart issues. Okay? Arm issues, you can have some stuff going on with your arms or some heart issues. Okay? I think the name was Sunshine Love. You still with me? You still in the building? Arms and heart issues is just to name a few. You're also in the physical side of life. So this is going to require a lot of body energy. Okay, a lot of Adam, a lot of that masculine energy. This is going to require a lot of that. So you got to be physically fit to make it through this, or you can leave away from here in this time. The reason why is because you're almost 40 already. You're almost 40 already, right? So you got 50, 60, 70, 80, and you still in the physical side of life at 80. That means that if you're not physically fit at a time that's requiring physicalness, you might not make it out of the physical side of life. All about your body right now. It's all about your body. Okay? Everybody understand that. Everybody understand that. Who else we got? Anybody else? I need somebody who's a quick responder. Somebody else who's a quick responder. Let's go. I may be able to have time to do. I got 12 more minutes. 12 more minutes. What was that sunshine love at? That's what I want to hear from. I like the people who I do it for. I be wanting to hear from them. Don't have me up here doing your shit for no reason. If you can't stay long enough to get your little free reading, go on back to business. Now that person was called Sunshine Love or something. I'm only looking for people who actually are looking for the owner's manual and who have health conditions. If you are looking to get your owner's manual and you have health conditions, please put some ones in the chat. Hey, what's going on, Marlene? Yeah, we still rocking and jocking, man. We coming live from the South Africa, but we still rocking and jocking over here, all right? We still rocking and jocking. All right, so Oli Moore, 8/26/1963. Ali Moore. Ali Moore, 8/26/1963. Like, give me an old student. 1963, 8/21 to 9/21. Okay, 8/21 to 9/21 is going to represent that Virgo. Okay, it's going to represent that Virgo. So you are right here, Ali Moore. Your starting line is your finish line. Your whole job, Mr. Moore, is to get you back to Virgo. Okay, your whole job is to get you back to Virgo. And you're in the first deacon of Virgo. So let's talk about some health issues really quick. And this ain't all you get. This is just a little bit of what you get with your owner's manual. It's just the tip of the iceberg. All right. So for Virgo, first deacon, you want to watch out for your appetite and you want to watch out for your coordination. Okay, your appetite and your coordination. So you could be having appetite issues and coordination issues just off of the information that you gave. Right now, another thing is, where are you currently? That's what we need to know. Where are you currently? So I think you were born in what, 68 or was it 63? It was 63. So that's gonna make you what? 60 going on 62? Going on 62, so you're 61, right? So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and 1. You are 1 year into Pisces. All right, you're 1 year into Pisces, which means you got 9 more years to go. This is a time of the unknown. Okay, this is a time where you could be dealing with a lot of intuitive and a lot of creative unctions. Okay, a lot of intuitive and a lot of creative unctions can come to you. This is also a time of closure. You could be getting some closure for some things. Some things could start to just close off for you. A good time for healing, a good time for spiritual awakening, spiritual awareness for you. You might be finding yourself dreaming vivid dreams that seem real, a very psychic kind of time for you to be able to kind of dream things and just daydream some things or just think on some things. And next thing you know, somebody could be telling you that shit happened, right? Because you're in that unknown space, that spiritual awakening. Now you're at the final time of your spiritual season because you're coming into the spring and summer, right? So now for you, listen to this very carefully. You are about to finish your spiritual cycle. So this whole time, for the most part of your birth, you've been in the spiritual thing, and you probably didn't know it. And now you got 9 more years left, but you finna start the physical side of your life, and your ass 61. So when you 70, how you gonna be if you got high blood pressure, diabetes, this, that, and the third? You see that? You see that? Because you don't know where you was at in life. So you probably done exuded all your physical energy in a spiritual time of your life. So that now you finna go into a physical time in your life with no physical energy. You see what we're saying, Ali Mora? So obviously you get way more information than this for a funky measly $50. Okay? But just for you to see the tracking system and the information just in this right here by itself is $50, y'all. Just what I just did from tracking him and then telling him about these life lessons, that's $50. For any NATO reader, any zodiac person out here, if you can do that, that's worth 50. But not only that, we finna be able to go ahead and tell this man about his duality, his characteristics, his this, his that, understanding that a Virgo is a Pisces. So you're stepping into some of your abilities that you quite naturally already got to make it through this phase. You are a Virgo already equipped with Piscean qualities, Ali Moore. You came into this thing already spiritually unctioned, already was a dreamer, already had a little psychic ability to you. You was already spiritual, heightened. You was already analytical, investigative. You was already having the qualities to make it through this particular season of your life. So you got what it takes to make it through the Pisces. The question is, do you got enough tank in the gas for the physical side? You were equipped for the spiritual because you're a Virgo Pisces. You made it through this. Don't make it through because you came in equipped with this, but now this beats you up a little bit physically. Now, if this life beats you up a little bit physically and you just about to go into a more physically demanding time of your life, then you see how much more care you should have took care of the physical in the spiritual moments. Can you see that now, Ali? You can see how much more tender you should have been, how much more less physical you should have been in a spiritual time in your life. And that's what you're getting. That's what you're getting on the HerbMan show. That's what you guys are seeing on YouTube right now. This is the newness and the freshness of this movement. We're using these natural laws to heal our bodies and our minds, to ultimately get us into that eternal space that we're all seeking. If you know anybody, if you love your people enough to spend your little measly funky $50 to get this information, please feel free. DM me, get to me, we'll get you the information that you need, okay? I love you guys, man, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Please go tell somebody to go tell somebody about your homie HerbMan. And until next time, love HerbMan. Peace out, you guys. Back on tomorrow, same back time, same back channel. Again, go tell somebody, go tell somebody. We're going to continue to keep beating you guys upside the head with different ways for you to get this into your consciousness so that you can start to alleviate all of the things that you're going through. Right now, the moon is up, June 25th. This is the low tide. This is the new moon. Okay. We've been teaching you guys about time, high tide, low tide. Start to do your retreat. Start to see how you're going to start seeing some of these things be revealed. Some of these hidden things will be revealed today and tomorrow in your life, and it's going to circle around your home affairs, your family, your mother, your children. Watch for those things the next 2 days. I love you. All right, YouTube.
Timber cheek, baby. Let's see these turkey leg timber. Y'all see that baby?